Oh, a big place going up there. I noticed that the Crystal Brook hotel just near the library seems to be getting to the finishing touches. It had that sort of blue exterior that they put around the work site when they're in the middle of construction. That's now gone, and they're actually putting on the actual permanent outer shell of the building. So it's quite a tall building by Cairns standards. I think it might be 12-15 stories, so it's quite might even be the tallest, I'm not sure, but it's certainly stands out. You know, apparently Cairns real estate's very tight at the moment. If you want to actually rent a place, I was talking to a nurse the other day, and she told me that she thought it was much cheaper to buy a place here than to rent. So her perspective on this place is that it's quite expensive rent-wise. I know about that. I think I would have got higher rent in Melbourne CBD for my flat. Well, I definitely did, than what I would get here. But again, I'm only paying about half the price for this property, little more than half, but not much, and it's twice the size. But it is definitely cheaper than you'd pay in Melbourne. I think the going rate for the place I'm living at, if I wanted to rent it out, it'd be a little over 300 a week, maybe 320. I'm not sure, but apparently the rental market is super tight here at the moment. So if you're an investor, it's a good place to be in Cairns right now. But of course, these things move around. But considering how poor real estate's doing in the big cities, especially Sydney and Melbourne, it's something to think about. If you do want to get into real estate, this probably is still a market you could look at. It's funny also, this I think she was originally from Melbourne as well, and she has the aircon on all the time up here, even in this weather. And this is, mind you, I'm on the 3rd level. I get a cross breeze, and it makes it even more comfortable. And when I did come back from overseas, my flat felt hot because it hadn't been aired out. But as soon as I opened up the windows and allowed the cross breeze, it cooled down again. And there's just no need for aircon in my place, apart from those 3 months when you have some really stinking hot days, especially in succession. Then you do need a bit of aircon, but that's the only time. So look, I think I used my aircon about 3 or 4 days the last summer. We just finished, so it's not much, but of course my electricity bills are going up, but at least they're going up from a low base compared to a lot of. It's quite nice around here, isn't it? Especially on this side as opposed to this side. Yeah, it's a depot of some description, and not very picturesque, but they get a good view from there. They're looking out their windows, but the people on this side get a crappy view. It's just a shame they don't landscape around here. It'd be good if they did that, but it's still nice. It's a nice walk. It's better than walking down the main street. I quite like it. I've got to go back to Edge Hill up to the Bowl Club, because that's a nice place to have a drink. It cost me more. Oh, and of course now that there's the happy hour on at PJ's, you can, between 5 and 6, I can have my Great Northern, a pint of Great Northern for $5. It's amazing value. And the thing I like about it is too that the Pier's a nice pub. It's owned by the same people as PJ O'Brien's, but the music they play is more contemporary, and I'm not, being an old prick, I sort of like the classic rock stuff a bit more than the contemporary music, which I'm not overly impressed with in general. I think a lot of it now is actually computer generated. That's how bad things have got. So yeah, some of it's pretty crappy, and isn't really marketed to discriminating ears. But yeah, I do sound like an old man talking. Oh dear, I try not to fall into that trap. I remember my mum used to always refer to as anyone that was under 30 as young people. She also used to wear these gaudy slacks. That's sort of a sign of an aging woman, but not. Yeah, so a bit of a Hillary Clinton type clone in that respect. Not only in that respect, I might add. I think she's not a lot nicer person than Hillary. Wouldn't be hard. Well, it wouldn't be hard to be a nicer person than many politicians, to be quite frank. But I did also saw Mark Latham's opening speech, his inaugural speech in the upper house in New South Wales. Very impressive as usual. I know Alan Jones was actually one of the guests in the special seating there. It's very much more laid back than other houses of Parliament. And of course he railed against political correctness, the usual stuff about how the education system is being dumbed down and all the usual topics that I totally agree with. So he's a great speaker, and I really do believe that Mark Latham will eventually move to federal politics, and Pauline Hanson will pass the baton on to him. And I think the One Nation Party would be a totally different party if that's the case, and for the good, I think, more professional, because he's got Mark Latham, I think, has greater gravitas. So he's a good thinker. He's someone who could have he could do what Menzies did. I think Menzies failed when he first went to Parliament, but he came back. He bounced back, and I think same thing with Churchill. It's not that unusual. It's not just because he got the flick from the Labor Party as his opposition leader doesn't mean he still doesn't have a future. Alright, that was a bit frustrating. I got my appointment finally, medical appointment checkup, and put a bit of weight on too, so it's a bit of a worry. Over 86 kilos. When I got back from Vietnam, my dodgy scales said I was down to about 84, I think. Or was it 82? I think it might have been 82. So yeah, I've got to start dieting again. So that's not so good. I had to wait a fair while to get to see the doc today, so that's frustrating. So I get to go to the supermarket, do some shopping, and again I had to wait ages because this woman was doing obviously a weekly shopping, and there's two of us, two middle-aged guys, me being one of them, who only had about 4 items each behind her, but she probably had about 10 times that many items. So that was frustrating. Then I went to Officeworks to print off a couple of pages of a document, a PDF document, and it gave me blank pages. So I went to the service desk. Again, there was another queue. Of course, it's around lunchtime, so it's a horrible time to do these things. And she told me that it doesn't. I hadn't done anything wrong. It just won't print PDF documents. PDF forms, just won't do them. So she did it for me, which is nice of her. So yeah, it's all fine now. But yeah, frustrating morning. But hopefully, sorry, the wind's kicking up again, and we've had so much wind. Very pleasant to walk in, but not so good for audio. And that's why I have to see my ugly face all the time, because if the camera doesn't face me, you won't hear what's going on. Also, I heard, I got an email back from the electrical place. They wanted to have my contact details before they could give me a quote online. They're giving me a quote on how much the actual downlights cost, and of course, because I'm on a top floor apartment, I have to get the downlights that are rated against fire, and they cost about 3 times as much. Expecting it to cost quite a bit of money to get this job done, so I don't have that many rooms, you know, there's not many lights, and I don't think I need more than maybe 1 or 2 at the most in the bathroom and the bedrooms. So yeah, it might be around 10 or so in total, 10 or 12 with downlights maybe put in, so that's maybe over $400 of downlights. I could wear that, and if the labour's about the same, I'd be fairly happy with that, because it cost me a long time ago about $900 to get my downlights put in my flat in Melbourne, and that was, oh, I don't know, 10 12 years ago, maybe 15 years ago. So that's pretty good if that's the case. So that's assuming that the labour would be about the same cost as all those lights, so depends how fast I can do it. That's a job I really would like to get done, and then I can finally look at the kitchen renovation after that. But again, I'm having real problems getting any kitchen renovation places. I'll have to pull my finger out and start to go for that. But the ones that were recommended through Google, there's only one review. It's a national mob called Smith and Sons, and like I said, they're right throughout Australia, but they just didn't reply to my email. It's very slack. The one that totally threw me though was the other Sparky, who got back to me and wanted to know if he could give me a quote that day that I emailed him, and I said, yeah, come in the morning, that's fine. And he must have been busy or something, because he never replied to the email. Sent him a second email, no reply. So not impressed. But looks like this place called Bees, B-E-E-S, a bit further down the road there. They're in one of the suburbs further out. At least they're professional, and they got back to me. This girl Tracy in the office at least is doing her job and keeping me in the loop, so that's good. Oh, amazing day. Yeah, I'm totally confused about what happened to my meetup gathering, travel group gathering. I'm not even sure if I'm still a member of the group. It's really weird because I changed computers. I'm definitely still a member of the one in Vietnam, which is weird, but not the latest, not the local one for some reason. I don't know what's happening. Maybe I used a different email address to join up. I'm not sure what's caused it. But it's very confusing, because I'm actually going to walk past to where they actually had the gathering. It was in a totally different part of town in North Cairns as opposed to Central Cairns. And I did find it confusing because I knew that it was a different name to what she stated, Tony, the organiser, had stated. So something was fishy, and but it was more convenient the other place. But I would have come here if I'd known that it was this place coming up on the corner here. Would also give me a chance to check out Uber, although they're in a bit of strife at the moment. Apparently there were huge protests in Melbourne by Uber drivers getting ripped off. Uber's was floated on the US stock exchange the other day, and its price dropped pretty well straight away. The thing about that is that automated car technology, if that takes off, Uber won't be requiring any drivers in the future. It may actually be good for their business model, but at the moment, yeah, they're not a happy bunch, the drivers at Uber. So yes, it's tough business. Yeah, and that's the restaurant they ended up going to. Pretty sure, Tandoori Nights. So the other one had closed down. Look at that beautiful weather. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you, or entertainment or whatever. And either do that or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great. But please don't ignore me. That's the worst thing you can do on YouTube, is be ignored.